in life when everything seems to fall apart, when the silence around you feels heavier than words, when the path ahead is unclear, and the strength within feels almost gone. But what if I told you that this silence, this stillness is not the end? What if it is the space before your greatest rise? You are not here by accident. You are seeing this because something deep within you has already decided to rise again. Life is not about avoiding the storm. It is about learning how to stand still within it. Every challenge that broke you, every door that closed, every person who walked away, none of it happened to destroy you. It happened to prepare you. Growth never comes wrapped in comfort. The seed must break before it can bloom. The night must deepen before the dawn appears. Pain is not punishment. It is transformation. What you feel right now is the energy of change moving through you. You are being shaped, refined, and guided towards something greater. Remember, power is not found in what you control. It is found in what you surrender to. When you stop fighting the past, when you stop resisting the moment, you begin to see clearly again. The path ahead becomes visible when you stop trying to escape where you are. Every setback you faced was a silent setup for your greatest rise. There were times when you thought everything was falling apart, but in truth, everything was falling into place. You questioned why things had to happen the way they did. You wondered why certain people left, why opportunities disappeared, and why life seemed to take more than it gave. Yet what you did not see then was that every difficulty was quietly shaping you, building something within that comfort never could. When you are in the middle of pain, it feels unfair. You look for reasons, you search for meaning, and often, all you find is silence. But that silence is not emptiness. It is the space where growth begins. Life never explains its lessons in the moment. It teaches through experience, through contrast, through the breaking and rebuilding of who you thought you were. Every time you were rejected, delayed, or disappointed, something invisible was being refined within you. Strength does not grow from what goes right. It grows from what you survive. Think of the moments when you lost your way. The nights when you sat alone, questioning your worth, your path, your purpose. Those were not wasted moments. Those were the hours when your inner fire was quietly being reignited. The pain you felt was not punishment. It was the spark that reminded you there is more inside you than what your current situation reveals. The universe often hides blessings within challenges, so that only those who are willing to endure can find them. You endured. And that endurance has prepared you for what is coming. There is a reason you are here, listening, reading, feeling this. You are being reminded that the things that once broke you were never meant to define you. They were meant to refine you. Each setback cleared space, removed distractions, and taught you the value of patience, humility, and resilience. It showed you who truly stands beside you when everything else fades away. It revealed that your strength is not in what you control, but in what you continue to do when control is lost. The biggest rise in your life never begins with applause. It begins in silence. It begins in the moments when no one sees your effort, when no one notices your struggle, when you show up anyway. That is where greatness takes root. The universe tests you not to destroy you, but to prove that you can stand even when nothing supports you. Every challenge you overcame was a silent agreement with your future self. A promise that you would not give up before you arrived. When you look back, you will see that every heartbreak taught you love, every failure taught you courage, every ending taught you faith. The lessons were disguised as losses because that was the only way you would pay attention. Without the weight of those moments, you would not have developed the depth that makes your presence powerful now. People often chase comfort, but comfort never builds character. Discomfort is the true teacher, and you have learned its language. Your rise is not about returning to what was. It is about becoming who you were always meant to be. You have been tempered by struggle, polished by pain, and guided by grace. You no longer move from fear, you move from awareness. You understand now that nothing is random, that everything you went through had purpose. Even the delays served you. Even the detours led you here. Every setback was preparing your soul to handle the very blessings you once prayed for. There is power in knowing that your story is not over. You have walked through storms that others would have turned away from. You have felt the weight of doubt and still chosen to move forward. That choice alone marks the beginning of your comeback. It is not about how fast you rise, but how deeply you understand why you fell. Because once you understand that, the fall loses its power over you. So when you feel the pull to rise again, trust it. When something inside you whispers that this is your time, believe it. The path ahead will still challenge you, but it will no longer break you. The lessons have already been learned. You are not the same person who once struggled to see the light. You have become the light. Every setback was never working against you. It was working for you. And now life is giving you the signal to begin again. Stronger, wiser, and ready. The pain you feel now is the pressure that shapes strength. It does not arrive to weaken you, but to awaken you. There are moments when it feels as if life is pressing against every part of your being, when your heart is heavy and your mind is filled with doubt. You try to find comfort, yet the weight remains. But this pressure, this discomfort is not here to destroy you. It is here to transform you. Just as the diamond is formed under immense force, you too are being shaped by the intensity of what you face. Pain is not an enemy. It is a messenger. It arrives to show you what still needs to be healed, what still needs to be understood, and what must be released. When life feels unbearable, it is often because something deep inside you is breaking open. The parts of you that once clung to fear and limitation are being stripped away. It feels painful because your old identity cannot survive where you are going next. The pressure is refining you, carving away what is no longer needed so that your true strength can be revealed. Every human being wants growth, but few are willing to experience what growth truly demands. Growth is not gentle. It is not comfortable. It requires you to endure moments of silence, confusion, and uncertainty. It asks you to keep walking even when the path disappears. The pressure you feel is proof that something new is forming inside you. Just as the seed pushes against the soil before it breaks through, you too must push through what feels impossible before the light returns. There will be times when your heart wants to give up, when the pain seems endless, and you question why you are being tested so deeply. But what you are experiencing is not punishment, it is preparation. Strength cannot be handed to you. It must be earned through endurance. Every tear, every sleepless night, every moment of questioning your worth is a layer of resistance being stripped away. The pain you feel is your spirit stretching beyond the limits it once believed in. You are not breaking down. You are breaking through. When you understand that pain has purpose, you stop running from it. You begin to meet it with presence. You learn to breathe through the moments that once made you crumble. In doing so, you discover something powerful. Peace is not found in the absence of pain, but in the ability to remain centered within it. That is real strength. It is not loud, it does not seek attention. It is quiet, steady, and deeply rooted. The kind of strength that cannot be taken away because it was forged in struggle. Think of the times when you thought you could not go on, yet somehow you did. That moment, that decision to keep moving despite the pain, was the moment you became stronger than you realized. Each time you rise after falling, the foundation of your spirit becomes unshakable. You begin to understand that the challenges were never meant to block your path. They were part of it. The universe does not test the weak. It strengthens the willing. And you have proven again and again that you are willing. Pain has a strange way of bringing clarity. It strips away the unnecessary and reveals what truly matters. It shows you what deserves your energy and what no longer does. It awakens gratitude for simple things, for moments of peace you once overlooked. You begin to see that strength is not just about endurance, but about awareness. It is about understanding that every challenge carries within it the seed of transformation. In time, the same pressure that once made you feel trapped will become the force that propels you forward. You will look back and realize that without this pain, you would never have discovered the depth of your resilience. Every challenge you faced added another layer of power within you. You became patient, disciplined, and wise, not because life was easy, but because it was demanding. You learned to move with grace, even when the world felt heavy. That is the essence of true strength. So do not wish the pressure away. Breathe into it. Let it mold you. Let it teach you what comfort never could. The pain you feel today is not a sign of weakness. It is a reminder that something extraordinary is awakening within you. You are being stretched into your fullest potential, and one day soon, you will look back and thank this very moment for shaping you into the person you were always meant to be. And when that day comes, you will understand. The pressure was never there to break you. It was there to make you unbreakable. What broke you before is building your foundation now. There are moments in life when the pain of the past feels like a shadow that never leaves. The memories of what went wrong, the mistakes, the losses, the betrayals, they echo in the mind like distant thunder. You wonder why you had to go through them, why life chose to test you in ways that felt unbearable. Yet what you did not realize then is that every piece of your breaking was quietly shaping the foundation of the person you are becoming now. When something breaks within you, it forces you to see yourself without the illusions you once clung to. It strips away everything false, everything weak, everything temporary. At first, it feels like ruin, but over time you begin to see the truth. What broke you was only removing what was never meant to stay. The heartbreak that shattered your trust, the failure that bruised your pride, the disappointment that emptied your heart. All of them were chiseling your soul into something stronger, wiser, more real. The universe does not waste pain. It recycles it into wisdom. The cracks that once embarrassed you are now where your light enters. You are not the same person you were before you broke. You see things differently now. You understand patience, you value peace. You know the strength of letting go. You have learned that sometimes losing something is not the end. It is the clearing needed for something greater to take root. The things that fell apart were not punishment, they were preparation. When you lose something you thought you could not live without, a part of you dies, but another part begins to awaken. That awakening is your foundation being rebuilt. Every time you picked yourself up after falling, every time you faced a day you did not want to face, every time you chose to heal instead of hate, you were laying another stone in the structure of your inner strength. What was once weakness has become your wisdom. What was once pain has become your power. The most beautiful souls are not the ones who have lived easy lives. They are the ones who have faced their darkness and still chosen to shine. The ones who have felt deep pain and yet found the courage to love again. You are becoming one of those souls. The very things that once made you doubt yourself are now the reason you stand with calm confidence. You have seen how temporary everything can be, and because of that, you no longer cling to what is fragile. You choose peace over chaos, growth over comfort, and understanding over control. It takes breaking to understand the strength of rebuilding. The walls you are building now are not made of pride or fear. They are made of awareness and grace. You no longer need to prove anything to anyone. You know that what broke you before was not meant to destroy your spirit, but to rebuild it on truth. You learned that peace is not found in avoiding pain, but in walking through it with presence. Every piece of your breaking has become part of your design, part of the foundation that will carry you through the next chapter of your life. There will be times when the past still whispers, when the old pain tries to return. Do not fight it. Acknowledge it, thank it, and let it pass. You no longer live there. You have built something stronger now. Every moment of pain gave you depth, every challenge gave you clarity, and every heartbreak gave you the courage to stand alone if needed. You are no longer afraid of falling, because you have learned that even when you fall, you rise wiser than before. This is what real transformation looks like. It does not happen in comfort. It happens in the breaking, in the chaos, in the quiet moments when you decide to start again despite the weight of what you carry. The things that once felt like endings were simply the beginning of your foundation being laid. You were being prepared to handle more, to love deeper, to move through life with steadiness and strength. So do not look back with regret. Look back with gratitude. Because everything that broke you before was never the end of your story. It was the construction of your strength, the molding of your character, and the preparation for your comeback. The foundation you stand on now is unshakable because it was built from everything you thought would destroy you. And now you know, what once broke you has become the very reason you can never be broken again. You are not restarting, you are returning stronger. There is a difference between beginning again and rising again. Beginning again means you are starting from nothing, but rising again means you are starting from experience. You are not the same person you were when everything first fell apart. You carry with you lessons, scars, and wisdom that can never be taken away. The world might see you stepping forward once more, but what they do not see is the strength it took to get here. The silent battles, the quiet rebuilding, the decision to not stay broken. When life knocks you down, it tries to convince you that you have lost everything. It whispers that you must start over, as if all the effort, all the pain, all the growth was for nothing. But that is not the truth. You are not starting from the beginning. You are starting from a place of understanding. You know who you are now. You know what matters and what does not. You know how to walk through the storm without losing your peace. You know how to stand even when you feel unready. That is not a restart. That is evolution. Everything you have been through has built a deeper foundation within you. Every mistake has taught you precision. Every disappointment has taught you patience. Every ending has revealed a new beginning hidden beneath it. You no longer move with the same fear that once held you back because you have seen what happens when fear controls your path. You have seen how it limits your growth. So now you walk with a quiet certainty. You trust the timing, you trust the process, and most importantly, you trust yourself. Returning stronger means you no longer chase validation. You do not seek to prove your worth to anyone. You have already faced the emptiness of losing everything, and you discovered something powerful. Your value does not depend on what you have, but on who you become through what you lose. You learned how to stand alone, and that changed everything. When you stop depending on others to give you strength, you realize you have always had it within. That realization is what makes this comeback unstoppable. The path ahead may look familiar, but you are walking it with new eyes. The mistakes of your past no longer define you, they guide you. The failures that once embarrassed you now serve as reminders of how far you have come. You are no longer the person who breaks easily or doubts endlessly. You have seen darkness and still chosen light. You have fallen and still chosen to rise. That kind of resilience cannot be learned in comfort. It is earned in pain, in patience, and in faith. When you return stronger, you no longer rush. You move with calm intention. You know that what is meant for you cannot be missed, and what is not meant for you cannot stay. This understanding gives you peace. You no longer fight to control outcomes. You align yourself with truth. You no longer seek to force growth. You allow it to unfold naturally. This kind of maturity changes everything about how you move through life. It removes anxiety, it dissolves fear, and it replaces uncertainty with trust. There was a time when you thought you lost everything. Now, you can see that you were only losing what was never meant to last. What stayed, what survived, what grew within you. That is real. That is the version of you returning now. You are not the same person walking back into your life. You are the person who has earned the right to start again with purpose. The pain that once defined you is now your teacher. The struggle that once drained you is now your fuel. You have learned to rise not with bitterness, but with balance. So when you take your next step, remember this truth. You are not rebuilding from ruin, you are building from strength. You are not running from what broke you. You are walking toward what will heal you. You are not restarting because you failed, you are continuing because you learned. Every scar you carry tells a story of survival, and every breath you take now is proof that you refuse to stay down. You are returning stronger because now you understand the value of falling. You understand the beauty of patience. You understand that everything taken from you was replaced by wisdom, resilience, and faith. And when you move from that awareness, nothing can stop your rise. Because this time, you are not coming back as who you were. You are coming back as who you were always meant to become. The storm did not end you. It awakened you. There was a time when the storm felt endless, when everything around you was falling apart and nothing seemed certain anymore. You tried to hold on to what was slipping away, but no matter how hard you tried, the wind kept pushing, the rain kept falling, and you felt powerless against the chaos. It felt like the world was tearing pieces of you apart, but what you did not see then was that the storm was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to wake you up to the power you had forgotten was inside you. Storms come to test the roots of your strength. When everything is calm, it is easy to believe that you are strong, patient, and at peace. But when the winds rise and the ground shakes beneath you, that is when your true character is revealed. The storm strips away the false layers of comfort and control. It removes what was never real, what was never stable, what was never meant to stay. And though it hurts, though it feels unfair, it gives you something much greater in return. Clarity. You begin to see who you are without the noise, without the illusions, without the distractions. At first, you resist. You try to rebuild the same structures that the storm took away. You try to return to the familiar because the unknown feels frightening. But every time you reach for what once was, life pulls you back and whispers, that chapter is over. The storm was never about loss, it was about revelation. It came to show you what you had outgrown. It came to remind you that peace cannot be built on things that are meant to leave. You had to lose what was false to rediscover what was real. Some storms are not outside you. They are within you. The thoughts that clash, the emotions that rage, the doubts that flood your mind. But even those inner storms have purpose. They bring buried fears to the surface so you can finally face them. They force you to confront the parts of yourself you tried to ignore. Healing begins when you stop fearing the storm and start listening to what it is trying to teach you. It teaches surrender. It teaches patience. It teaches faith. The storm awakened you to your own power. You learned that even when the world around you changes, the strength within you remains. You discovered that peace is not the absence of struggle, but the ability to stay calm within it. You began to trust yourself in a way you never did before. When you lost what you thought you needed, you found what truly matters. Your resilience, your focus, your ability to rise. That realization changes everything. Once you awaken, you cannot go back to sleep. You cannot pretend you are weak once you have seen your strength. The awakening also brought truth. You began to see the difference between what you wanted and what was right for you. You started recognizing people, habits, and patterns that no longer aligned with your growth. The storm opened your eyes. It made you realize that you do not need to chase stability from the world, because stability is something you create within yourself. It showed you that nothing outside of you can complete you, because what you were searching for was never missing. It was simply waiting for you to notice it. Every storm eventually ends, and when it does, there is silence, a deep, peaceful silence. That silence is not emptiness, it is renewal. It is the sound of your soul breathing again. You begin to see beauty in the small things. The sunrise after a long night, the warmth of your breath, the quiet strength in your heart. You start to live differently. You no longer rush, you no longer fear endings. You understand that everything has its rhythm, and you have learned how to move with it instead of against it. Now you walk with a calm that others can feel. You speak less, but your presence says more. You no longer seek to control what happens. You trust that what comes is meant to come, and what leaves is meant to leave. The storm awakens something sacred within you, something that cannot be shaken again. You learn that even if the world turns dark, your light remains, and that light will guide you through whatever comes next. The storm was not your ending, it was your beginning. It cleared the path, rebuilt your faith, and revealed your strength. It showed you that the power you once searched for outside was already living within you all along. And now, as the sky clears, you finally understand. The storm was never there to destroy you. It was there to help you remember who you truly are. Trust the timing. Your comeback is already unfolding. There are moments when you look around and feel like nothing is moving, when it seems as though life has paused and left you behind. You see others rising, succeeding, finding their rhythm, and you wonder why your time has not yet come. You begin to question your path, your worth, your choices. But what you do not see is that beneath the stillness, something is quietly forming. The universe is aligning circumstances, people, and moments that you cannot yet perceive. Your comeback is already in motion, even when it feels invisible. Life does not unfold according to your clock. It unfolds according to your readiness. Sometimes delays are not denials. They are divine protection. The things you once begged for, the opportunities you thought you missed, the paths that seemed closed, they were never rejections. They were pauses. Life was waiting for you to grow into the person who could handle the weight of what was coming. Every moment of waiting has purpose. Every silence has meaning. The waiting seasons are the roots of your transformation. Trusting the timing does not mean doing nothing. It means learning to move with awareness rather than impatience. It means understanding that the pace of life is not a punishment. It is a rhythm. You are part of something much larger than yourself, and everything is unfolding in perfect sequence. When you rush, you create resistance. When you trust, you create flow. The universe always delivers what is meant for you, but it does so when you are truly ready to receive it, not when you think you are. You have already been through enough to know that things do not always go as planned, and yet somehow, they still work out in ways that surprise you. There were times you thought the door had closed for good, and later you discovered it was only being replaced by a better one. There were moments you thought you had lost everything, and then you realized you had found yourself. This is how life works. It hides blessings in timing. What feels like a delay is often a setup for something greater than you imagined. Patience is not just waiting, it is trusting while you wait. It is holding faith even when there is no visible sign of progress. It is believing that just because you cannot see it does not mean it is not happening. Seeds grow in the dark before they ever touch the light. The same is true for your dreams. The silence, the setbacks, the slow progress, all of it is the soil in which your comeback is taking shape. Trusting the timing also means releasing comparison. Your journey is not meant to look like anyone else's. Everyone has a different rhythm, a different lesson, a different unfolding. What you see in others is not a reflection of what you lack. It is a reminder of what is possible. You are not late. You are not behind. You are right where you need to be to become who you are meant to become. When the time is right, the things meant for you will not require you to chase. They will flow toward you naturally. You must also trust that the struggles you are facing now are not in vain. They are carving patience into your heart, resilience into your mind, and wisdom into your spirit. Every challenge is teaching you how to hold peace in uncertainty. Every delay is building depth. You are learning to walk with calmness, even when outcomes are unknown. That stillness within you is a sign that your comeback is near, because true strength is quiet before it becomes visible. One day, you will look back and realize that everything happened exactly as it needed to. The timing of every ending, every loss, every shift, it all made sense in the grand design of your life. You will see that the waiting did not waste your time. It shaped your perspective. It allowed you to grow roots strong enough to sustain the rise that was always coming. What you thought was a season of nothing happening was, in truth, the moment when everything was aligning behind the scenes. So breathe deeply and let go of the need to know when or how. The how belongs to the universe. The when belongs to the process. Your only task is to keep showing up with faith. Keep walking. Keep preparing. Keep trusting that everything is arriving on time, even if that timing does not match your expectations. Because one day soon, when everything falls into place, you will understand that it was never late. It was always right on time. This is not coincidence. It is your calling to rise. You did not stumble upon this moment by accident. You are seeing these words because something deep within you is ready to awaken. There comes a time when the universe stops whispering and begins to speak clearly through signs, moments, and emotions you can no longer ignore. This is that time. You may call it fate, alignment, or divine timing, but it is all the same. Life is calling you to rise, to step into a version of yourself that you have only glimpsed before. Every experience you have faced until now was preparing you for this awakening. The heartbreaks, the disappointments, the delays, even the moments of confusion, all of them have led you here. The path was not random. Every challenge carried a lesson, every silence carried wisdom, and every loss cleared space for something greater to take root. You might have thought you were being broken, but you were being shaped. You might have thought you were being forgotten, but you were being refined. What felt like an ending was the beginning of a higher chapter that only now you are ready to live. The calling to rise is not loud, it is subtle. It is that quiet knowing within you that says, I can no longer stay where I am. It is the restless energy that makes you question what used to feel comfortable. It is the moment when you realize that fear no longer has the same power over you. You begin to sense that there is something more you are meant to do, something more you are meant to become. That is the voice of purpose calling you home. When you are called to rise, life begins to remove what no longer serves you. It may come in the form of endings that hurt, relationships that fade, or paths that suddenly close. At first you resist, thinking something is going wrong. But in truth, everything is going right. Life clears the way for your next chapter long before you take the first step. The people, habits, and situations that once fit perfectly begin to feel heavy because you have outgrown them. You are not being punished. You are being elevated. This calling asks for courage. Rising does not mean life becomes easy. It means you stop hiding from your own potential. You stop waiting for permission to be who you are. You stop shrinking to make others comfortable. The calling to rise demands that you stand in your truth, even if it shakes you. It asks you to trust what your heart knows, even when logic cannot explain it. The path ahead may not be fully visible, but your spirit already knows the way. The feeling you have right now, the pull towards something greater, is proof that you are meant for it. You might wonder if you are ready, if you are strong enough, if you deserve what is coming. The truth is, you have already proven your readiness through everything you have overcome. You have faced darkness and still chosen to look for the light. You have fallen and still found the strength to rise. That is what rising truly means. It is not about perfection. It is about persistence. It is about trusting the process even when it feels uncertain. The calling does not come to the perfect, it comes to the willing. It reaches those who have been tested, who have been broken, who have learned humility through hardship. You were chosen by experience. The pain you endured was not random. It qualified you. The lessons you learned were not wasted. They prepared you. Every moment you thought was working against you was, in truth, guiding you here, to this point of awakening. The universe does not make mistakes. If you are here, reading these words, feeling something move within you, it is because you are being reminded of who you are. You were never meant to stay in the shadow of what hurt you. You were meant to rise beyond it, to use that pain as power. This is your time to step forward, not with fear, but with quiet confidence. You are not waiting for the perfect moment. The moment is waiting for you. Everything that once felt uncertain will begin to make sense when you move with faith. You will start to see that the signs were always guiding you, that the timing was never late, and that the strength you were searching for was already within. This is not coincidence. It is alignment. It is confirmation that you are exactly where you need to be to begin your greatest rise. So breathe deeply. Trust what you feel. The universe is speaking through this very moment, reminding you that you are not lost. You are being called. Step forward with faith, for your comeback has already begun, and your rise is inevitable. And now you know this is not coincidence. It is destiny unfolding through you. Every moment that broke you, every silence that tested you, and every delay that challenged your patience has led you right here, to the beginning of your greatest rise. You are not the same person who once struggled to find strength in the darkness. You have become the light that guides your own way forward. The pain has shaped your purpose, the lessons have deepened your wisdom, and the waiting has prepared your spirit for everything that is coming next. This is your time to trust yourself fully, to walk with calm confidence, and to allow life to unfold with grace. You have already proven your resilience. Now it is time to live from that power, to rise, to rebuild, and to embrace the peace that comes with knowing that your comeback has already begun. Wherever you go from here, carry this truth with you. Nothing you have faced was wasted. Everything has prepared you for the extraordinary chapter ahead. May your next steps be steady, your heart be fearless, and your journey be guided by faith. Good luck on your rise. Keep going, keep believing, and never forget, you were always meant to come back stronger. Thank you for listening, and may your path forward be filled with light, growth, and peace.